Hello. Today we're going to talk to Deepthi from For the Love of Dog, and we are going to discuss something very, very cool. So you've heard of training, I'm sure. That's something that we talk about a lot on Sploot, and that's something that now there's a lot of content on it on Instagram as well. But we're going to talk about something that is, one step ahead. Training is all about getting the basics right, right? Having basic communication with your dog, finding ways to make it easier for them to understand you and you understanding them better as well. Enrichment is about how your dog is. I'll let Deepthi explain. But essentially, what I get from enrichment is that it is a way to keep your dog mentally stimulated, right? And it's a way to get them to give them something to do even when you're not around or you're not taking them for a walk or you're not playing with them. You give them a job to kind of do, right? And they're then active and happy and stimulated with that. But we'll get into it with Deepthi now. I'll just send her an invite. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just waving to everybody who's joined as well. Hi, Deepthi. How are you?
Hello, hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good too. How is everything in Bombay?
Well, oh, not good. Not good at all. We've begun to be locked down and hopefully we break the chain. Let's see how this goes now.
Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, on the upside, everybody thought that 2020 was going to be the only year you get to spend so much time with your dog.
that's true.
That's the silver lining, I guess. That now
The
there is
best
another two
part of
months of
it, if
holiday.
there is one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When is
and
this
I
going to
think
go?
that makes what we're going to talk about today even more relevant, right? Now that everybody has all this time in the world, and you want to do even better to become a dog parent who actually does deserve the dog that you have.
True.
We'll talk about enrichment in this session as well. But before we get into that, why don't you tell everybody about yourself and how you started for the love of dog?
Sure. So I run a company called For the Love of Dog. We specialize in enrichment toys and tools. So to start off with, these are not my ideas. I can't take credit for them. Uh, I have lost audio. Yeah. That these are toys that have been popular abroad for really long now. And when my pup came home, of course, I knew about mental enrichment. I was also a trainer. I was very prepared with two Kongs, and that's pretty much the end of it. That's what we knew of enrichment at that point. Um, but of course, like most pet businesses, mine is also inspired by my puppy, my very hyper devil dog, Gaia.
Yeah.
This whole hunt started with trying to keep her busy. I won't
Hmm.
lie, that's where the ideas came from. But then I started realizing that she loved to use her nose. So any
Hmm.
scent work, any nose game, she's an indie.
Right.
Um, so any of these games, not only did she love and it was very easy to do, but those calmed her down and like took the edge off her every single time.
Right. Hmm.
So then I started exploring more toys. I discovered the snuffle mat and these other very simple and very easy to use enrichment games.
Yeah.
Um, and when we couldn't find any here, I started making them. I made one for Gaia. I took a little bit of help. I made them for my training clients. And yeah, no doubt, because it's so basic for a dog, right? They love to snack, they love to sniff. This puts things together.
Yeah.
It worked out really well, and yeah, so here we are trying to reach more dogs.
Awesome. And I think you being able to identify that there is something more than training that you need to do also has to do with the fact that you
Yeah.
yourself are trained to be a canine trainer, right? And you mentioned clients and
Yes.
stuff as well. So how did that
Yes.
kind of come about? Was it only Gaia? Did you see it with other? How did your clients take to it?
I mean, definitely clients as well. So I'm okay. So when Gaia had come home, I had dogs all my life, blah, blah, but she's my first apartment puppy. And I was already
Right.
training at this point.
Hmm.
So a lot of times while training, I was still I was learning from my mentors, studying, taking a few clients pro bono, that kind of thing. And
Sure.
most cases, even though the dogs got all the cues really well, within like 4 classes, we've got them to sit and stay and do this and do that. And we've begun, like, all the basics are in place or
Yeah.
getting there. But that didn't solve the larger problem of, oh my God, I just turned my back for 2 minutes and my shoes was destroyed. And hey, I,
Hmm.
just went to the kitchen and this box was torn up. My charger, whatever. Those kind of things are pretty constant.
Right.
And at that point, I'd always say, you've got to tell your dog what to do rather than what not to do. So, give them things to
Hmm.
do. And I was still figuring, what is that? What can you give them to do? What is this? What does it mean to give a dog a job? All these
Yeah.
things that we read as trainers very much, but Gaia was a good practical class in getting it all right for me.
Yeah.
Uh, but when I start, the also the thing is, we are really lazy sometimes. I mean, you can tell
Guilty.
people, yeah, that you got to take them for that extra walk, or hey, come on, go for a beach trip once in a while, take them for a hike. All of those things, nobody does it. And sometimes, exactly, I was as guilty because I was working all day. I come back in the evening. I didn't want to train. I didn't want to play. So it worked out really well. It was like a win-win
Yeah.
situation for both of us, where she's really happy using her nose. It's a fun thing that she really enjoys.
Hmm.
And it gave me 20 minutes of peace. And she was, of course, I'm not saying it's a replacement for a walk. It's not. We had to do the walk as well.
Correct.
But sometimes that's not enough. You come back home and they're still raring to go. And now you're like, Apito, like, can you please relax? Can you take a chill pill? And they can't. They're puppies or they're growing dogs. They
Yeah.
are naturally curious. They want to explore. They're going to get into trouble if you don't direct that energy properly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that
So,
makes a lot of sense, right? And I love that you're approaching this also from a very practical perspective, right? It's one thing to
yeah,
say that you should be the ideal, like robot when it comes to
not
raising a dog, right?
possible. Yeah,
Do this, do this, do this, do this. But even if you were to do all of that, there would still be things that you can't account for, right?
exactly.
Which is
Yeah,
where I think that philosophy comes in, that you have to kind of go into it with the mindset of you have to tell them what to do rather than things happen and then you try to kind of manage
yeah,
what went
exactly.
wrong
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So I think that's really I mean good for me to also kind of understand your perspective. Let's get into the questions, right? And for
yeah.
today's session, we've kind of identified the basics of what enrichment is. Then how do you handle practical situations, ones that we kind of touched upon right now. And then there's
Yeah.
one question that we get around, DIY toys. And I know that you also give a
I
lot of
love
that.
DIY. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Especially for like heavy chewers and all, where you are a little bit like, I don't know if I should spend so much on toys or not. So I think it'll be great to get that advice from you as well, right? So we'll just get
Sure.
into that.
Yeah.
Why don't you start with like giving like a summary of what enrichment really is, right? And how it's
Yeah.
different from training, so that is
Sure.
very clear for everyone. Yeah.
So enrichment, actually training is also enrichment in a way, but enrichment as a larger word, you're just talking about how to enrich your dog's life, how to make that dog's life better.
Right.
But the idea is, I mean, taking your dog to a vet is also making their life better. But the
Hmm.
difference here is that you're letting them do things that they would naturally do. So
Okay.
letting them use their instincts that as dogs they have. Because the
Hmm.
minute they're living with us humans and we're trying to adjust with them, we take away a lot of their the things that they would very naturally otherwise do. For example,
Right.
scavenging. We're
Right.
not going to let them scavenge. We will teach them, leave it and don't pick up things on the road and don't find whatever. But that is what a dog is like born to do.
Yeah.
So there's these sniffing activities is a great substitute for it. It's a safer, more responsible
Understood.
way to let them use that same instinct.
Hmm.
Or chewing on something. You don't want them to chew on your shoe. You don't want to, but chewing is something dogs love to do. So hey, you got to give them something that they're going to enjoy chewing.
Right.
So all these very dog behaviors. The
Got
idea
it.
is to not suck them out of it in trying to make them disciplined and obedient, good dogs. That's not the
Hmm.
point. The point is to let them be dogs once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And letting them do that has a amazing side effect of them being kind of happier, well settled, they're a lot less edgy, or
Hmm.
they don't have all this energy that they don't know what to do with
Right.
when they get to like partake in these activities.
Right, right. I don't know
So
if this is something that I mean is scientifically proven or not, but I've definitely noticed that since we started, doing a lot of nose work and playing with like softer tug toys like the one that you have, I've noticed that she's actually stopped scavenging as much on walks. I don't know if that is
yeah.
a byproduct or what it is, but is that something that happens as well, or are there any kind of other benefits that you've seen over the
Yes,
course
so
of?
I
Hmm.
can't be sure if that's the case with Sriracha, but in
Uh,
general, the idea is novelty, right? So the
hmm.
minute something is novel, you want to do it, and the minute
Right.
it's like, "Acha, ye to karne ko milta hi hai," then you're not as excited. So, for example,
Okay.
enrichment with cardboard boxes. So
Hmm.
this is for dogs that don't swallow it, but otherwise to hide some treats in a cardboard box and letting them problem solve and figure it out and how to get into the box and tear it up, that gets there. It's a lot of problem solving that the dog's doing, using a lot of they're mentally stimulated.
Right.
Um, you would think a lot of like a question that comes often in this respect is, oh my God, isn't that going to make my dog chew cardboard more? But
Hmm.
honestly, it's they get to chew it anyway, so they kind of lose interest in it. It's some weird
Understood.
reverse psychology with dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Uh,
get it. I mean, even if you link it to what typically is the counterintuitive advice, right? When you're practicing training as well, that if you want them to not develop like a behavior of them chewing on your slippers or whatever, you have to ignore it, right? So that they don't think that they get your attention. Maybe it's something like that, that okay, this is
that
routine.
routine, exactly. I mean, another parallel example is when you take your dog on a long leash. So
Hmm.
dogs run away, like I've seen it so often that the minute you take off their leash, they've gone, like bolted, run for the wind, because
Hmm.
they don't get to run. It's something
Got
new.
it.
They're so worried that, oh my God, you're going to be putting me back on that leash and then I can't run anymore. So then every time
Right.
they get to, it's a crazy new experience that they want to exploit. But for
Right.
dogs that get to do it a lot, they hang around you, they're
Hmm.
closer, they do their thing. It's no, you don't like it's less exciting for them and therefore more ordinary, more
Understood.
less, yeah.
So it's not
Uh,
something that they have to then like steal from you, right? It's something that
exactly.
they're anyway getting, so they're not that
Getting.
eager. Hmm.
Exactly.
Got
So
it.
these are just things that they are asking for.
Huh.
And we just need to know how to balance it out and let them have it in the safest manner possible
Understood. So
for
the
all
way
these
I
things.
understand it, tell me and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Training, and I'm talking like very basic kind of training
Hmm.
around potty training, no, yes, sit, all of
Yeah.
that. That seems to me is a way to teach them rules, right? That okay, this is okay, this is not okay. You can do this here, you cannot do this
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
enrichment is kind of a way to lean into their instincts, right? And give them things to do that they naturally want to do as well within those
Yeah,
guidelines. Is that correct?
absolutely. It's true. But
Okay.
training also, like I was saying, can be mental stimulation because
Right.
training, figuring what to,
It's
what is it that's going to give me that cookie? What is it that you want from me? Figuring it all
understood.
out also gets their brain completely stimulated.
Got it.
So that can also be fun. And as long as you're making it a game, you're setting rules and boundaries and whatever else. But at the same
Hmm.
time, it's a big game for the dog,
Right.
right? That's
And
that's
you're
what you're
kind of
trying to
doing both.
achieve with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
The
in
idea is
fact,
to do both together.
training,
Yeah.
yeah, and training with them also gives you the scope to let them be dogs more, you can give them more freedom to do things that are going to be enriching for them,
Hmm.
because you can trust that you have a communication um, to make sure everything's safe and that it never gets
Right.
out of hand for anyone.
Got it. So you set the ground rules first, and then within those rules, you kind of help them be
Yeah,
themselves. Understood. Yeah.
exactly.
Nice.
At the end of it, I mean, yes, you are living with humans. You have there are few things that kind of make it easier for everybody, for the dogs to know.
Yeah.
Um, s- but that doesn't mean. I mean, that's why it's this interspecies relationship that works so well.
Yeah.
They learn pretty fast. They don't. I mean, they can pick up, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we take advantage of it.
Yeah, of
So,
course. And I think it's also, I mean, I find it cool that there is a concept like this that talks about, I mean, the fact that you're using a dog's natural instincts and making play out of it, right? because
Yeah,
it's so intuitive for humans to play a certain way, right? Like we have sports or we have something else,
yeah,
and that's all obviously built around natural activities that we like doing. So it's
true.
cool because you're learning another animal's way of playing, and you're kind of
Absolutely.
doing
Yeah.
that with them. So I think that's
That's
great.
really nicely put. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So we'll go on to the next one, right? And now we're going to go into like those practical situations. And
Yeah.
we get asked this a lot. So this is great for everybody, who at least who asks us, which is that my dog is destructive when I leave him alone at home, right? A lot of people were facing this problem now because offices were starting and stuff, and they were
Yeah.
trying to
They're
figure
not
out.
used to it at all.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
especially after a whole year of that not having been the case,
Correct.
how can enrichment help this?
In So there are a few enrichment toys like the Kong, which are
Hmm.
safe for dogs to use unsupervised.
Right.
So one option is definitely that, hey, if you're leaving you're leaving the house, but your dog's food motivated, so then you give them a frozen Kong or something like that, and it'll keep them going a little while before they sleep. But the
Hmm.
larger, more important thing with this is, one, you have to, I mean, it's possible that now they've developed some sort of separation anxiety. So yes, you need to
Hmm.
speak with the behaviorist and figure it out, what exactly is triggering your dog, how bad is it, how anxious are they.
Right.
But you can use enrichment really well while you're training them and teaching them to be by themselves.
Hmm.
So I mean, the
Okay.
best part, I mean, dogs sleep for, God, 14 to 16 hours a day, right? That's
Yeah.
again why this works for us. That's why it's possible for so many like generations that we've gone to work and the dog has been at home,
Yeah.
because they sleep all day. They are most active in the mornings and evenings.
Correct.
We are free to go to work all day because they are going
Yeah.
to be sleeping anyway. So the point is to teach them to be comfortable with themselves and learn to
Hmm.
relax when they're alone. So
Okay.
if I was leaving for work, morning, we'd definitely go for a walk. We'd
Hmm.
sniff everything, stop, take in all the smells of the world. Come
Hmm.
back, maybe breakfast is a couple of games that we put
Hmm.
together. And by then, she's knocked out and she wants to sleep. She wants me to leave
Hmm.
and she is ready to take a nap. So
Right.
if your dog is really being destructive, you have to start teaching them this. You'd really take it step by step. That, hey, I've left the room for 5 minutes and then come back, and you
Got
kind
it.
of proceed with the help of a behaviorist, ideally, if
Got it.
it's a bad
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Um, but enrichment kind of really works, or mental stimulation for dogs gets them to be ready to take that nap.
Understood.
So
Okay.
they've had their quota of fun for the morning or for whatever, and they're now ready to, they're going to
Nap.
do it whether you're at home or not. But the point is to be
Yeah.
comfortable with it. So
Understood. Got it.
it's
So
it
one
it
part
could
is
really
that, right?
work. Yeah.
Understood. So
So
one
one is
part
to
is
teaching them to slowly, these games, you don't need
right.
to, the DIY you have to watch really carefully.
Correct.
The things like a snuffle mat or the Kong or whatever else.
Hmm.
You can easily step out of the room and come back once your dog learns how to use it. And you have to know
Understood.
your dog and how destructive they are, of course. Um,
Right.
so,
Got it. So one
uh,
part is kind of training them to be alone and be
yeah,
okay with the fact that you're not there. And the
yeah.
other part is also giving them something that unsupervised, it'll be okay for them to kind of work on, right? So whether
If
that's
they're
a
happy to, yeah, yeah.
hmm.
See, if they're really anxious and it's really, they might not eat anything when you're not there. So it's not going to
Hmm.
work for a dog that's already kind of tipped over on the
Okay.
separation anxiety scales.
Right.
Um, but to get them used to it, activities that they can really play by themselves
Hmm.
would help a lot in
Right.
the learning process.
Makes sense. The other one is similar, but I mean, the added complication is that this time you're actually within eyesight, right? And a lot of people face this problem as well, that I'm at home, but I'm on calls,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And my dog sees me, and then they just expect that, okay, now I can get whatever I want. So how do you kind of do that through enrichment?
Well, a little bit of routine helps with that.
Hmm.
But again, enrichment in terms of these puzzles that you can set up for them. If I was right now somewhere, Gaia is working on something because I have shut her out of the room and I
Yeah.
need half an hour of her not. I mean, it's walk time also, so I know she's going to be all like active.
Huh.
So that's exactly the idea, that if you know that this half an hour I really need her to be not in my face and camera or in my meeting. I don't want to hear her
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Give her something else to do. Plan it.
Hmm.
You already know that 6 o'clock you have a meeting, so be proactive about it and plan something, keep something ready.
Right.
Um, that I mean, your part of your dog's dinner or snack or whatever it uh, is gone on a treasure hunt
Hmm.
that that you can time with your meeting. So
Right.
keeping them busy again, same thing. That if you, it's very. I mean, how do you say don't disturb me during my meeting? You don't. Why don't you do this during my meeting instead?
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. So basically anticipating when your dog could want your attention and kind of planning for that. And that
Yeah,
is a combination of obviously what you taught them about staying alone and being okay with it, and then also
yeah,
occupying them. That just in case they
yeah.
still get that urge to come and be with you, you are still you're giving them something to do as well.
Exactly. I
Awesome.
mean, even during training, a lot of people with kids, especially,
Hmm.
that school getting ready time. I don't know what it is like now with the new situation, but in general,
Yeah.
that was always chaos. And oh my God, no, I can't train my dog at that point, and my kid's driving me nuts, and he can't find his socks, and the sock is with the dog, and all of that's happening in the morning. And you're like, why is it happening every day? If you know it's going to happen tomorrow, plan
Hmm.
for it. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be so complicated.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think most of us forget that, dogs also understand schedules because it's such an alien
yes.
concept to think that another animal understands like time and maybe like
No, they
having
know
a
it
fixed schedule. Even though they don't have clocks, like my dog knows that this is when I
absolutely.
get my lunch, like 15 minutes here and there, but they'll come.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, yeah, I feel like that is actually the breakthrough that a lot of pet parents have when you realize that you can schedule their day and they will
Yes.
know what happens when.
Yeah.
Um,
That takes a
yeah,
little bit of getting used to for the pup as well, especially for
correct.
puppies who sleep for even longer. It's just that
Yeah,
when they're awake, they're like some patakas flying in the house.
yeah,
But but that's the whole point. It's part management, part being democratic, and kind of giving everyone what they want to do,
yeah.
making everyone happy.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So now we are on to my favorite part of this, which is I think we can make this even broader, right? What are easy DIY kind of enrichment toys or games that you can play with your dog, right? In those situations or otherwise. What do you kind of
Uh,
recommend?
I love cardboard box games, especially
Huh,
since nowadays we constantly have deliveries happening.
yeah,
So I love taking a shallow box, a small box, whatever that your dog can get their nose
huh,
into.
huh,
I just stuff all her toys in there
huh.
and sprinkle some treats.
Ooh.
So in fact, if they're tone toys, I put like within the whole of the tone, like within the where all the stuffing's gone, I put a couple of treats in there as well. So there's a
Oh,
bunch of things to do then. So
huh,
maybe the Kong has a little cheese, a sock has a treat, or the tone toy has a treat, or I made a knot of some sort with some cloth and stuffed some treats there. So there are
yeah.
multiple puzzles put in one little box, and then she's got to find which toy has what treat, kind of snip it out, work it out. That's my favorite and simplest DIY. That's no fuss, no mess. Just dump
Nice.
it all together and get them hunting.
So I'm guessing that plays on the nose work aspect, right? Like they're sniffing
Yes,
things out and then playing
nose
with that.
work and problem solving as well, because
Hmm.
they have to pull out the sock, figure out how to get to the treat within a knot,
Hmm.
or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a bit of both.
Got it. Tell
Um,
me, tell me something. This is just coming to me. But I've noticed that Sriracha, when she's, we've got one of those long leads, and we sometimes, when we're in an area with a backyard, we kind of tie her there when we're also there.
mhm.
And she has this habit when she gets a little bored, she starts digging, right? And I'm guessing it's a very dog thing to do.
Yeah,
But is there something that we can use for that when we're in our apartment, right? Something that
yeah.
helps her do that, or she's torn a
In
couple of my
fact,
books. I don't know how to make it normal
no,
for
but
her.
digging, this is something we've actually recently done and I'm yet to post. But
Huh,
so when laundry day, when all
huh,
my towels and bed sheets and whatever has to go for a wash,
huh,
I find a toy that Gaia likes, get her interested in it,
hmm.
and put it in a pile of my laundry. I throw the toy in there. and she has to figure
Ah,
out where it is. So not only does she sniff, it ends up she has to like dig
dig.
the top towel out and dig that out. She'll, get all of that going
Huh.
and finds the toy.
Hmm.
So I mean, ideally, it would be great if we could take them to a beach or a sandy area and get them to
Yeah,
do that as
but
well.
hmm.
This works just fine. She anyway digs
Yeah.
the bed all the time to get
Yeah, I'm gonna
comfortable.
try that
So
actually. Yeah, she's
yeah,
already ripped like a tear in my sofa.
yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna try this. This is a good way to
With
also make
towels,
laundry fun.
yeah, towels are also a little bit thicker materials rather than bed sheets. So
Got it.
laundry day is always digging day now.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. And what about like tearing paper and all? Like, should we? So I am a little confused. What happens is that if there's like random newspaper and tissue and all, she likes tearing it up.
Yeah.
But then it creates a
What
mess.
do
So then
you
I feel
do?
like I shouldn't allow it. We don't have a consistent behavior actually. I feel like that's our problem. We're not sure if we should allow newspaper tearing, but then she also tears books. So
Yeah.
what do you
She's
do?
also she's still a pup also, right? She's eight
Yeah,
months right
like
now, so
eight
she's
months.
still
Huh?
figuring. And also, this is that teenage age where she's going to. This is it'll only get better from here. But
Yeah.
teenagers, yeah. What do you say?
I know.
Uh,
My mom's having the best laugh. That's the only thing that's happening. Hmm.
first of all, you need to up your management. If she can get to your books, it's your fault.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
that I mean that's
Correct.
that. Two, it depends on the dog a little bit. So because I mean the same chappal theory, if she's got the chappal and she's running and you chase because you don't want her to eat your chappal or like get whatever,
She'll.
suddenly the chappal has become so important. And suddenly
Hmm.
the chappal means, oh my God, Garama's going to come after me, our game's going to start, and she's dropped everything she was doing, and now we're playing. So yeah, this is like the best toy ever, right?
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing with tissue paper or newspaper. We newspaper trained Gaia for her
Okay.
toilet training
Huh.
because apartment and blah blah.
Yeah.
So initially she did exactly that, and I was a little worried. But then
Hmm.
we just let her, and then it got boring because she's done it now for
Hmm.
2 days, and abhi aur kitna newspaper like she
Understood.
was also done. So it kind of balanced, like it worked out.
Evened out.
Yeah.
Hmm. Got it.
But yes, if you're going to give it attention, or she makes that connection that okay, tearing the newspaper means like four people are going to come out from their rooms and play with me. It's not going to go. So one, manage your situation better so that you don't get into a place where she can steal something that you can't.
Yeah.
Two, if there's anything that she can get to, then you have to be prepared that she will get to it.
Hmm.
So uh, either be
Understood.
ready to distract her with something else or let it go and hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, uh, I find that, there's a lot of confusion sometimes around these technical words around training and behavior. And you
Yeah.
make it sound so easy to understand, right? Like that it's what they anyway
Yeah.
do. So find a way to make it okay for them to do it
Yeah.
without it affecting your life too much.
Yeah. Most dogs that really works. There are one you have to be careful because there are some, especially Labradors, that will sit and eat the paper also, cardboard also, stone also, everything's gone. You have to be careful with those dogs, of course, and
Hmm.
you need the Kong or whatever else for those dogs for sure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
extra careful management. But
Yeah.
like 9 out of 10 dogs thrive just fine without getting into any sort of trouble with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And thank you so much. I think let's end on like something interesting, right? You have a bunch of now enrichment products that you kind of do. What are
Like
your
growing, but yeah.
like top three favorites that you've seen or you're very like fond of personally? Maybe there's a story behind it or something that you
Of
find.
enrichment toys in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have three favorites for sure. Okay, one is it's not a toy, but it's just find it around the house.
Huh.
I think that's a really fun game. Also great to, I mean, no toy involved. A little bit of bonding happens because you kind of have to supervise it and help them or guide them.
Hmm.
So I love find it. Definitely the snuffle mat, the sniffer
Yeah.
mat. Yeah, because it's just sometimes I don't have the energy for DIY. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
And
yeah.
And it's also the game is different every time because there's so many places to hide. It's a new
Yeah.
game every time versus
Yeah.
something like the Kong, which I love, but it's the
Yeah.
same game again
Yeah.
repetitively.
And
This
also,
is
I mean, for people who haven't bought these products before, it's also made of felt, right?
fleece.
Which is fleece, sorry.
Yeah,
Because I've noticed that she also, I mean, she sniffs, of course, but she actually really loves, like, I think just
yeah,
like feeling the fabric and like tugging on it. It's such a nice, soft chew for her.
yeah.
That I feel like the material also makes a big difference.
I think so too. I mean, it's soft. Also, it's really thick, so it's not easy to
Yeah,
chew.
yeah,
It doesn't get stringy. It's not like your other fabrics, which kind of become strings, in which case you can
yeah,
swallow it, or it can be other complications. This fabric doesn't go there.
yeah.
Uh,
Which
and
means
yeah,
it's
you have
durable, guys, which is
it's
better
it's
than
not
trying to DIY
indestructible.
this.
It's not
Yeah,
indestructible,
takes
but
the.
yeah, they've handled a fair amount of mouthy dogs just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. And your
Uh,
third one.
the Hoolie ball.
Hmm.
Have you seen that? I think I have it somewhere. I it's
Yeah.
this round ball with which has holes in it. It's hollow.
Okay. Okay.
So you can either stuff a bone in there, or you can like wrap some
Understood.
treats in cloth or paper and put it in there, and they kind of have to get it out again. So this is more problem solving rather than sniffing. Uh,
Hmm.
but it
So it
bounces around and
dispenses. It
it
dispenses
they
kind
have
of.
to get inside. So it's like a
Oh.
flexible ball that you kind of pull and put the treats into.
Oh.
But
So it's not
so
very
the dogs
simple
also have to.
too.
It's
Ah, nice.
treat it off and you can play with it in like many ways.
I'm gonna
Uh,
get this. I think I
yeah,
need
yeah.
this.
It's called the JW Hoolie ball.
Okay, cool. I will look it up.
So yeah, it's really good fun.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Deepti. I think this has been a lot of fun. I feel like I've actually just played with my dog for the last 30 minutes just by talking about it so much. But
We'll head out soon, play some more.
yeah, I won't keep Gaia from you for too long. Thank you so much for taking out the time to do this. It's been great fun talking to you,
Yes,
and
this was fun.
we'll stay in touch.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Karima.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.